Ram trucks, built to serve.
He's a former MVP, but are people sleeping on Lamar Jackson headed into this season? In the Windy City, the Bears have faith in Andy Dalton. Are these guys buying it? And Juju Smith-Schuster, 2 weeks before the season starts, doing the milk crate challenge, guys. What is he thinking? Yep. Good Tuesday morning, everyone. Welcome to First Things First. He's just barely doing it. Even though we had spotters, that's ridiculous. Jenna Wolf, Nick Wright, Chris Broussard, Kevin Wilds. Nick, come on. If you're Juju, what are you doing?
Yeah, far safer for him to repeatedly get hit in the body and the head playing football than to take a few hurdles over some milk crates. Give me a break. Guy's a pro athlete, professional athlete.
It's all fun and games.
Someone's going to put an eye out.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah, they are.
I knew Jenna was going to say that. Y'all are so whack.
Let us, we'll get to Juju in a second. We got to start this Tuesday morning talking quarterbacks. So ESPN came out with their predictions for this season's top 10. And look, their panel had Mahomes, yes, at 1, followed by Aaron Rodgers. Then look at the list. Russ, Allen, Dak, rounding out the top 5. Super Bowl MVP, Tom Brady at 6. Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Matt Stafford, and Justin Herbert rounding out your top 10. But let's focus on Tom Brady. Chris Broussard, I'll start with you. You okay with Brady being left out of the top 5?
No, absolutely not. This is ridiculous, all right? And the disrespect for Tom Brady has to stop. You know what you're doing? You're motivating him. All right, he doesn't have to go looking for motivation anymore. It's all over the place. First, Nick Wright says he's only the 10th best player in the NFL. The players got him ranked 7th. And now this, you actually put him behind Dak Prescott? And I like Dak. But to think Dak Prescott, coming off an ankle injury, coming off a shoulder injury, all right, in which he basically missed the entire training camp, is going to have a better year than Tom Brady? I won't go through all the other 5 quarterbacks, but Brady's going to win more games than Russell Wilson and Dak Prescott. That's for sure. Maybe Mahomes, Rodgers, Allen, we'll see. But that right there is going to make him better because his numbers are going to be good, too. There's this notion out there that Brady just rode the Tampa Bay defense to his 7th Super Bowl. And, yeah, the defense was phenomenal. I won't take anything away from them. But to act like Brady was a chump last year, he was 3rd in the league in yards per game passing. He was 2nd in the league in touchdown passes. I mean, what is not to like? And I'm telling you, he's going to have a great season. Father Time's going to catch him at some point. I get it. He's 44. But I'm betting it's next year, not this year. His receiving core is going to be better. I think Antonio Brown is going to have a phenomenal season. He's trying to get that bag. You know that, Nick. He wants to prove he deserves another big payday. They got O.J. Howard back as a tight end to help the others. And Gio Bernard in the backfield. That's their James White, all right? He's going to now have a check down guy out of the backfield. This is ridiculous. No way he shouldn't be in the top 5.
All right, well, before I get to my reaction to what Broussard said, if you're watching at home, and I assume you are, maybe you're streaming online somewhere, but wherever you are, grab a pencil and piece of paper or a pen and write this down. 1185 Avenue of the Americas, New York, New York. That's the mailing address where everyone can send me my apologies. Because old Nick Wright, who had the audacity, the just outrageous take that called Brady the 3rd best quarterback in the NFL. I went Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady. Oh, I was disrespectful. Oh, there's Nick Wright doubting the GOAT again. There's Nick Wright disrespecting Tom Brady again. And then his peers said, no, Nick, that's exactly where we also have him as the 3rd best quarterback. And then Broussard and Wilds' former colleagues at the other network, they said, hey, how about we put 5 guys ahead of him? How about we put Dak ahead of him? How about we put Josh Allen ahead of him? How about we put a guy he beat in a Super Bowl, Russell Wilson, ahead of him? Not to mention, of course, Rodgers and Mahomes. So everyone can send those apologies. I'm not a big fan of edible arrangements, but my wife and kids are. I'll take those as well and distribute them accordingly. Listen, I obviously had Brady third out of respect for what he has accomplished, but this is a slightly different list. It's not the best players, it is a projection. And I would have, I don't know that I would have had Dak ahead of him, but I know I would have had Lamar ahead of him if we're projecting forward. So then you're still coming in sixth, like if we flip Dak and Lamar. And so, Wilds, you seem, you're upset, and I understand that you're upset. I'm not sure why. Because Tom Brady, I know you're still in denial about this, but he doesn't play for your team anymore. Your team's quarterbacks came, I think, 29th and 36th on this list, so that's fun for you as a Patriot fan. But what's the problem here, my friend?
Well, I have a few problems. One is that truth is the foundational bedrock of this show. And I hate to break it to everybody, you don't have to send your apologies to 1185 Avenue of the Americas because we're not in the office anymore. We're all at our houses. So Nick that's the first untruthful thing Nick has said. No, you do not. No, you do not. And no one's going to send edible arrangements there. The strawberries would go bad. Here's my issue. I agree with Broussard that it's wildly disrespectful. Wildly disrespectful. Last year, the same list had Brady listed as the 8th best quarterback. So Tom Brady goes out, throws for 40 touchdowns, wins the Super Bowl, wins Super Bowl MVP, and the people who make the list said, 5th. So what do you need to do to move? Oh, no, he's 6th, excuse me. What do you need to do to crack the top 5 if winning the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl MVP isn't good enough? But I'll play the game. I'll play the game. Maybe it's the leadership. Maybe there's a better leader out there, even though 2 of the guys are ahead of Brady, literally threatened to leave their teams. Meanwhile, Tom Brady is recruiting guys to go in and makes everybody better. Maybe it's arm strength. Maybe it's an arm strength thing. Dusty, can we throw up the graphic on how Tom Brady's arm has really suffered? Well, I don't know. He's had more air yards than everybody, had more passing touchdowns than Patrick Mahomes. What the heck you got? Is that a misprint? Should we fire Dusty? Nope, it's actually correct. And had more rushing TDs than Russ. That's a little bit of a bonus there. But if it's not leadership, and his arm is still lively, and he won the Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVP, to me, it's a little bit of like LeBron after he won the finals in the bubble. So, the Bucs deserve their respect, and Tom Brady deserves his respect too.
No, hold on a second. Wait a minute here. Hold on. There's so much of what you said there is insane, Wilds. First of all, you just dinged, I think, in passing, Russ and Rodgers for threatening to leave their team. Is my color off of my screen? Was that Tom Brady in a Patriots jersey, or was that him in a new jersey after he actually left his team? So the idea that those guys should be penalized for doing literally what he did is an absurdity. The other thing is, I'm not going to call you fake news, but that first stat, the only stat Brady led the league in, is a fake stat. Air yards per pass, the hell you talking about? The actual stat is air yards per pass means nothing to me. Yards per pass, yards per attempt, he was 12th in the league. And while he somehow found room for rushing touchdowns, as if that's something we really care about with Brady, what you conveniently left off was interceptions, where he had the 6th most in football, not including the hat trick he threw in the second half of the NFC Championship game. And Broussard, you're mentioning, you're like, oh my God, he's 3rd in the league in yards per game. Yes, in the exact same offense with the same weapons that established all-time great Jameis Winston threw for 5,000 5,000 yards the previous year. Let's not act like there is not a correlation between who he's throwing to and where he's playing and for whom he is playing and the volume numbers he put up last year, right? Like Jameis did have 30 touchdowns and 5,000 yards with the, I guess, slightly worse weapons, no Gronk, no AB, in the same offense, Broussard.
All right, Nick, you just spouted so much gibberish. I don't know where to begin. All right, let me try here. Number one, here's one word for you. Analytics. All right, come into the new world. Yeah. Analytics. Air yards per pass is huge. All right, Wiles gets points for that. That's humongous. You should know this. Daryl Morey's your good friend. You should know analytics is legitimate. Secondly, you're going to